never don't care, we cannot falter in the battle, we're tried and true. Indiana, Indiana, we're all for you.
Welcome to the Indiana Basketball Show on the Gruely True Sports Network. I'm your co-host, Mike Goodpaster, here with, of course, the legend himself, number 34, 1981 national champion, Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
Also not the owner of 10 three-pointers in one game record.
Well, they didn't even have three-pointers back in your day because
And I'm a lucky human being.
Broke. But, yeah, last night, Lamar Wilkerson will show you the key to the game. If he can make 10 threes and score 44 points, this team can beat anybody, because last night they made Penn State look like a bad basketball team, and Penn State's not a bad basketball team. I don't think they're going to end up in the NCAA tournament, but I think they'll win 18 or 19 games maybe. I think they're a decent team, though, Steve. So this was a good win, especially considering coming off two bad losses.
Yeah, I think Penn State is probably the emblematic team you're probably going to face at least every day in the Big Ten. You're going to have your outliers like a Michigan, a Michigan State, a Purdue. They're going to be your exceptionally great teams. And then I think the rest of the league is going to be made up of a bunch of Indianas and Penn States, aside from the outliers on the bottom too. So I think Indiana showed consistency really from both the Louisville game and the Penn State game. If you want to start with the Louisville game.
About 10 minutes in, yeah.
Okay.
10 minutes in, yeah. I mean, Indiana played well. And the thing I took away from the Louisville game was this, Steve. Last year, the game started off like that, and we ended up losing by like 40. This year, it ended up like that. They didn't get back in the game, but they were in the vicinity of the game. And Louisville is, I think, easily a top 10 team this season, too.
Well, yeah, I think the only difference between Penn State and Louisville, in my eyes, and the total 3 losses Indiana has now is just shooting. It's just, this is a team that relies on shooting. And that's just the maturity and innate makeup of this basketball team. It's not a power team. It's not a what I call a true fast breaking team. It's a shooting team. It's powered by 3 good shooters on the perimeter and a couple of good wing players that can hit threes and punch the ball to the hole occasionally if there's an open enough lane. We're not going to dominate any game against anybody inside. We're not going to own the boards against a physical basketball team. But when we're shooting lights out, and you saw what happened last night, the best cure for ill-willed shooting is get back into your own gym, play on your own home court, know the creaks and cracks of your own dribbling on your own thing, and know the touch off the glass, and know what you're looking at behind the rim too after you're shooting the ball. So I'm not disappointed with anything that happened. I'd like to say we're still undefeated. We could be, because I don't think any of the teams we lost to were better than us.
No, I think Louisville's better.
A little bit, just
They're
a little
top 10
bit.
team, Steve. They can go.
Louisville is more athletic than we are.
Man,
I think if we'd have shot like we shot last night and played Louisville, might have been a different story.
Well, I'll tell you this, though. Louisville's perimeter defense is a lot better than Penn State's, which could have.
Well, they're better athletes. Yeah, they're a little bit better athletes.
So field goal percentage for the game, Indiana shot 69%. They shot 55% from three-point range, 80% free throws, out-rebounded Penn State 28-21, 30 assists to 6 assists, 8 steals to 6 steals. Yeah. We had a block. They had none. Indiana, 10 turnovers, Penn State 14. I mean, there's nothing here. Largest lead was 49. Yeah, the largest lead for Penn State was 2. And this is a game, really, when I saw the 15.5-point spread, if I would have bet the game, I probably would have taken Penn State in the points. Because
you were talking about doing that in your parlay.
Yeah, I talked about it. Luckily I didn't do it. But I think the thing that took away from me was Reed Bailey. You remember what Bob Knight always said about ass meets bench being the best thing you could do for somebody?
Oh, I know that story well.
And Sam Alexis started last night, played 16 minutes. He did some things, But Reed Bailey came off the bench and provided a huge spark for Indiana. 21 minutes, 18 points, 6 for 6 from the free throw line, 6 for 6 field goals, 5 rebounds. So ass meeting bench seemed to wake him up here.
Yeah, I helped write that book.
I know. I thought you were like the picture of it. I think that
I'm the poster child for it. So yeah, I understand that, and I'm still liking DeVries' mentality and his culture. He's building very well.
Yeah, we never saw anybody hardly ever get benched with that other guy. Either of the other guys.
Well, he played. Well, okay. I'm not going to go there.
I said either of the other guys, so I covered them both, but I didn't say their names.
I know, but it's an era that's over and done with, and let's just move forward.
Well, quit talking about it then. I already stopped.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a lot to add than you've already said. Statistically, we got back to where we normally are. We pounded them on assists. The assists, 30 assists we had?
Yes, 30 assists.
30 assists in a game. What do we get? Points off?
The points off turnovers were 26-12.
Okay. Second chance points. They got more fast breaks. We out fast breaks. Bench scoring was out to our advantage. Turnovers was huge. So points in the paint, 42-36. So we kept pounding it.
I'll tell you something that I would like to bring up, and we saw it. It's why they got back. So the Louisville game was a single-digit game, and that was Nick Dorn, who made 5 3-pointers against Louisville. And so far, the sample size is small, but Dorn is now 13 for 27 from the 3-point range this season, and he continues to make the case for more minutes. He scored 13 last night off the bench in 25 minutes. I think he shot, 3 for 3 on 2s, 2 for 4s on 3s. So that is another weapon that can make the 3s.
Yeah, and he just needs to work himself back into playing shape, into playing condition, and get into the rotation and whatnot. He'll do that quickly because he is an asset to this basketball team. So that expands the depth chart by 1, gives a little more time break for everybody else. I really like to see how Coach DeVries is not relying on his son to
be. What I like to see even more is the fact that when Wilkerson goes off and everybody else gets hot, he just becomes a part of the machine, basically, instead of trying to insert himself and get his points too.
Right. No forced shots. He did not force anything. No. I mean, he scored an easy 40, 40.
Wilkerson had 44, yeah.
Yeah, an easy 40. I mean, I say easy. 44 points is never easy. But he did it as part of the teamwork, not as like everybody stand back and watch me jack.
Yeah, and that sounded really disgusting. But all right. I'm sorry.
I was off there.
The other thing about the blowout win is after last week's losses to Minnesota and Louisville, it pushed IU down the computer rankings pretty good. But Tuesday's lopsided win against an 8-1 team helped the Hoosiers to recover. Indiana moved from 28 in Ken Palm to 21. They moved from 31 to 20 in the NCAA net rankings, and they moved from 24 in Brett Torvik's to number 19 following the win. And I know it's really early in the season to bring this stuff up, but if we could keep this number into 20s, it keeps us from having to have those first 4 out, last 4 in discussions in a couple months.
Yeah, I'm going to go a couple, 3 or 4 years without hearing those.
Actually, I would like to go like the rest of our time without hearing those.
Okay, well.
Hey, and the Indiana Hoosiers are the number 1 ranked team in American college football. I never thought I would ever say that, ever.
I mean, and that's not a joke. That's not a fluke.
They're going to the Rose Bowl. I waited. I was born in 1968, but I was born like 11 months after they went to the Rose Bowl. And all my life, I always wanted to see IU play in the Rose Bowl. I thought that was done when you go to the college football playoffs. But here we are, Indiana against Oklahoma or Alabama in the Rose Bowl, and they're going to be favored against either team. That's something that, to me, is just almost impossible to even comprehend.
Mike, the Rose Bowl sits about 30, 35 minutes from my house.
I told you, if you want, we can work on it.
If you want to come out, we can put you up in a tent down on Skid Row with the rest of the people.
That's just as good as the trailer I live in now, Steve.
Yeah, it wouldn't be much. You'd probably be a little cleaner in the tent. But we can get out. We can play a little golf maybe, and take you to the ocean and get you a saltwater bath, and
Okay.
go to the Rose Bowl.
You paying for me to come out?
No, but I'm sure you've got sponsors on the show that do that. How do we not have a sponsor yet?
I don't know. We haven't really tried. If anybody wants to sponsor the show, let us know.
Yeah. All you guys, look, listen to all of our friends. Wherever all of our friends step up,
Yeah,
take the time in the middle of the day to listen to us. They must own their own businesses to be able to do that.
You would think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess since we've been doing it for free, everybody's just going to let it go.
Why pay them when they don't want to be paid?
All right. So we have a rivalry renewed. It's the 8-2 Indiana Hoosiers will take on the 6-4 Kentucky Wildcats. Steve, this is my favorite rivalry in the whole wide world as long as we win it. And we're going to get to see it again for the first time in a very long time. And I'm excited about it. Unfortunately for me, what time do they play this game on Saturday, Steve?
7:30 your time.
Okay, so I'll be in Tennessee. I'm sure there'll be a TV in Tennessee. I'll have to talk my wife into going to a sports bar or something. So
I don't know if they have TVs in Tennessee yet or not.
I don't know. If anybody's in Tennessee, let us know if there's TVs yet in Tennessee. I'm pretty sure there probably are, Steve, but you never know.
Color?
I'll take whatever I could get to watch Indiana kick Kentucky's ass.
High def is definitely out.
Yeah. But I tell you, my new TV looks really good. I was just worried because we lost the first 2 games with the new TV. But they bounced back, so I didn't have to throw it out. But now, Kentucky has struggled, Steve, to say the least.
I got a couple sweatshirts like that, too. I bought the Colts sweatshirts that I wore one time. Colts got dumped, and I can't wear them again.
Yeah, I'm not superstitious, but like I tell everybody, just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know. But yeah, Kentucky this year so far lost to Louisville about like we did, where the score says they lost by 8, but you knew they were going to lose. They lost by 17 to Michigan State. They lost by 3 to North Carolina. They lost at home 94-59 to Gonzaga. And really, if you look at their wins have come against Nicholls State, Valparaiso, Eastern Illinois, Loyola Maryland, Tennessee Tech, North Carolina Central. So I would say here, Steve, their level of competition they played might be better than ours, but when you lose to all of them, it really doesn't do you any good. They don't even have a win as good as Marquette on here or Penn State.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the end of their game, I think last night, against North Carolina Central.
Yeah, I think it's a school that is made up, so Kentucky could beat them.
Yeah, and Kentucky handled the game, but they didn't look like they were playing anybody. They didn't like they were playing any better than us. It was a little more physical than we did, but they weren't shooting as well as we could shoot. They weren't moving around any better than I thought Kentucky would be. It's not the Kentucky of
last year even. I mean, because this is a team that, despite the expensive talent, because they spent a lot of money on this roster, they've struggled to find consistency. And you've got to figure, since Kentucky fans are the dumbest fans in the world, probably outside of maybe Ohio State football fans, that this is putting a lot of early pressure on Mark Pope. And I think this is a crucial game. They need to get this, because if they don't get this, their next game after this game is against St. John's. They could very easily be 6-6.
Yeah, I think that the worst mistake that could happen would be to come in the first renewal of the rivalry year, and they're playing where they playing. It's at Rupp Arena.
Yeah, it's at Rupp Arena.
Yeah, they lose this game, and it does more damage to them than it does to us to lose a game.
And how about this? Let me ask you this. When you played, what was the bigger rivalry, Indiana versus Kentucky or Indiana versus Purdue?
The more hated rivalry was Indiana-Kentucky. The bigger rivalry was Indiana-Purdue.
I don't know. To me, as an IU fan, I always hated Kentucky.
Yeah, everybody, the hated rivalry. The
Purdue, yeah, but I mean, that's the rivalry that matters the most because you hate them. You don't want to lose.
Well, Purdue matters more because it's a league game.
It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. The league doesn't matter when it comes to playing Kentucky because, like I said, their fans are all idiots.
Well, Mike, why did you ask me the question?
Well, I just thought you'd give the right freaking answer, Steve. I didn't know you were going to screw it up.
Well, I'm just telling you as a player. I mean,
I know you just played in the game. I've been watching it my whole life, Steve. Come on.
Kentucky was always a tougher battle. It was a more emotional game, and Purdue was just another game in the Big Ten schedule we had to have. Plus, I was a lot more friends with the Purdue players than I were the Kentucky players because the Purdue players would always come to Butler along with the Hoosier players, and we'd all get together and play.
Yeah, it still didn't change the fact all the Kentucky people are stupid. Now, Doug Butler-Meyer, 439, says, hey, Steve, do you think any of Indiana's current team would have started on your 1981 team? I would say no because none of them were born yet. But what do you think, Steve?
Let me go through. Wilkerson, well,
I think Tucker DeVries is the guy that
Tucker. I was going to get to Tucker. Tucker, I definitely think would have had a chance, but I was thinking he would have replaced Whitman as maybe a little bit better shooter. But then Whitman didn't have the 3-point shot when we were playing either, so it's hard to make that adjustment. Whitman was one of the smartest ball players I ever played against or with. Yeah. Nobody would have touched Isaiah, not Wilkerson or anybody.
No.
They didn't have anybody big enough to touch Ray or Landon. Bailey could have worked in with the rotation of Kitchell and myself and Jimmy Thomas. He would have worked into that rotation, and Knight would have loved Sisley.
Yeah, I think he would have loved DeVries too.
Oh, he would have loved DeVries. Yeah. No, that's what I said. My first thought to my mind was DeVries. But let me get to him at the end.
Hey, a good thought is this: is Trace Jackson Davis. This is the first time we were asked this question. You could actually at least float names that might have been able to, if you know what I mean. They could have at least gotten in the game.
There's a lot of people that would have. Yeah, Trace Jackson Davis certainly would have been in.
Yeah, but I'm saying from there's nobody off last year's team that I would think. There's not a work ethic with most of the guys we've seen in the last 25 or 20 years, Steve. Maybe a couple of Green's teams and Trace Jackson Davis.
Yeah.
But I think
Oladipo would have played.
Yeah, Oladipo. That was the Green team. That's what I said. A couple Green
team, yeah. Okay.
So
the 81 team was pretty solid. I mean, it was a pretty solid basketball team. Lot better because the 76 team was so celebrated. The 81 team, a lot of times gets overlooked.
76 went undefeated, so
that's
why it really
deservedly so they get the attention.
Really, 87 gets overlooked because of 76 because it's really hard to top or even compare to undefeated.
And it's the first team Knight took there, so it became the yardstick to measure everybody else off of anyway. And
we took them in 73.
But the first team that won a championship was the 76 team. They did it undefeated. And 50 years later, nobody still has ever matched that, ever, in any college.
But the Michigan Wolverines may make a run at it this year.
Well, they might.
They're pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Put it like this. Gonzaga beat Kentucky by 30 or 40 points. Michigan beat Gonzaga by 40 points. That's kind of scary.
Okay, back to this. In the two games we just watched while we were away, you see any flaws or any errors?
It's the same flaws as always. If we don't shoot the ball well, we're in deep shit. Yeah.
So we're both in agreement in that this is a team that's going to live and die with this shot all year long.
And I'm all right with that because the teams we've seen.
I'm all right with this team.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is this. I mean, he had to build an entire roster. This is how he put the team together, and I would think he did it this way for one simple reason. I am very encouraged off of what I saw in the Penn State game. Because we've seen in the past, you can lose a game or two and everything falls apart. The wheels didn't fall off. You had Wilkerson, who had played not very well the last two games, step up, knocking stuff down. Now you've got Dorn in there knocking shots down too. There's more guys there that have to go cold for you to actually crap to bed. And I think what you've got right now is you've got a team that if you came out against Michigan and shot 69% and hit 17 threes, you're going to win the game. Now, chances are you're not. But once again, they're good enough to beat anybody, and they're bad enough to lose to Minnesota at Minnesota.
Right.
And that's what
it's all based on shooting.
Yeah.
It's all just, that's why I think that this is a good lesson for DeVries is get some road games in early in the preseason, get used to different environments, get used to shooting in different gyms.
Well, and it's just playing better competition. I mean, losing to Louisville is not a bad thing. Now,
Losing
if you lose
to Kentucky's not a bad thing.
Well,
losing to Minnesota is a bad thing.
I don't think losing to Minnesota is a bad thing because
it's a league game.
It's your first game on the road. I don't care about the league. I care about winning the national championship, Steve. Which would you rather have, a Big Ten championship or a national championship?
I don't know. I've got both.
I know. Which one? Well, if you had to give one up, which one would you give up?
Oh, duh.
Okay. So when Knight used to say the most important thing was Big Ten games, and the important thing is to have a ring at the end for a national championship. And this team can beat it. If they were to get in, you get a few good matchups. Somebody upsets somebody somewhere. Who knows? Maybe get the Sweet 16. From there on any given night, if Wilkerson goes off, DeVries goes off, or Dorn goes off, you can beat anybody. So I think what we're going to have is we're going to have a limited team that is very exciting, though, and it will play hard on every night. And the thing that I saw against Minnesota is it seemed to me that they were very uncomfortable because Minnesota slowed the pace down. And the best thing about that was, though, it seemed like they learned from that because the ball movement, at least after the first 10 minutes of the Louisville game, was decent at least. Last night, it was exceptional again. What you need to see is a game where they come out slow and then they can turn it on and be exceptional after that first 10 minutes.
Agreed.
You know, because right now you're kind of the first 10 minutes. If it's bad and you get behind, you're kind of screwed because then I think the threes start to become forced and the offense doesn't space as well and the movement's not as good. I think when they're comfortable, they're great. What we need now is a team that can be uncomfortable and become good.
Well, it becomes imperative, like you said, for Indiana to control the tempo of the game as often as it can because of the style of which it plays. As long as it's controlling the tempo of the game, it controls what kind of shot it gets. It's not. I haven't seen Indiana rush a lot of shots. I mean, I think that.
I think they did against Minnesota
some, but they didn't control the tempo of that game.
I know. That's what I mean, though. So you got to be able.
My point exactly. That's the point I was trying to make.
So my point is this: if you could be uncomfortable and still not force your shot, that's when you've got.
This team is very heady basketball team. They don't get rattled high or low. I don't ever see a smile on DeVries' face at all. Wilkerson's face, I don't see much of a smile. He wasn't going giddy and throwing high fives at everybody up and down the court.
Yeah, he looked like he expected to make those shots.
Right. Yeah, he did not look like this was, oh my God, I'm shooting it out my rear. You know, he got up, they got set, they got him open, he got himself open, and if the shot was there, he passed up a couple threes to penetrate in and dish off, and had other players take the shot. So, but as long as we control the tempo of the game, we'll control our shot selection and our shot speed. And then we get good shots. We make good shots. Against Minnesota, like you said, I didn't feel we controlled the tempo of the game. And that's something that DeVries needs to hammer home. You know, own the first 5 minutes and control the tempo of the game as much of the game as you possibly can. Don't let them switch tempo on you. Play our tempo. Let's be good at that. And that compensates for a little bit of lack of inside physicality we might have. I still think the team can improve itself defensively by blocking out and being in help position more defensively. But who am I to talk if DeVries is happy about that? I've not heard him talk about that yet. But I think the rebounding is still poor. And our block out positioning is bad. We transition into a fast break good, and it's usually a controlled fast break. So and that gets us the points off of dribble drive or off the penetration from fast break points. So,
all right, Steve. So, what do you think? Indiana versus Kentucky. Who do you got?
If I'm really smart, I don't gamble. I would say Kentucky's going to win this game by 3 or 4 points.
Okay.
Only because this is going to be an incredibly emotional game. And it's another gym that Indiana's never shot in. And Rupp Arena is a big barn. It's a big, huge square barn. So, but I believe Indiana can win this game. If I was going to bet, I'd bet on what's the line of the game?
There's no line yet because the game is on Saturday, a little too far out. I think Kentucky will probably be a small favorite, but not as big as you would think, just because they're 6-4 and they haven't beaten a good team yet. Robert Schwartz says the $64,000 question: what team will we get at Rupp? The team that played Minnesota and Louisville, or the team from last night? Actually, I think the team from Louisville might be able to beat Kentucky. Robert says 83-76 Indiana. I agree. I believe Kentucky went out and bought the best players they could find. They really, when I watched them play this year, they remind me of IU last year, where you see all kind of talent, but it just doesn't mesh. Hopefully,
from my heart, I'm in Robert's camp. 83-76.
I'm in Robert's camp because I think that
if I'm going to bet money, I'm probably going to spend my money, unless the spread's ridiculous. If it's a 2 or 3 point spread, like I think it's going to be, because Kentucky hadn't beaten anybody, but they are playing in Rupp Arena, and it is a renewed rivalry.
It did just lose by almost 40 at Rupp Arena to Gonzaga too.
In Indiana, I'm not seeing Gonzaga play yet this year, so I don't know how good they are. But
they lost to Michigan by 40 the game before that. That just tells you don't want to.
That tells you a lot, doesn't it?
It tells you don't want to play Michigan.
It tells you don't want to play Michigan.
Does that mean Michigan would beat Kentucky by 80?
I don't want to find. I don't want to be. I don't want to be Indiana and find that out.
Well, Indiana's going to find that out pretty soon, and I'm not really excited about seeing that. But if you look at this after the Kentucky game, which I think they'll win, you got Chicago State and Siena, and then you're back to Big Ten play for the rest of the year. And it's not terrible. You're starting off with Washington at home. You should win that. You're at Maryland. We just got to see. I mean, the thing is this: if they beat Kentucky, I'm going to feel a lot better about seeing road games.
A Kentucky win's going to heal a lot of wounds for Indiana.
Well, it's going to give them a lot of confidence.
Yeah, a lot of confidence.
You're starting off Big Ten play by hosting Washington. You're going to Maryland. You're hosting Nebraska, who we'll find out tonight if Nebraska is that good or not, because I think Wisconsin's even better than what I thought they would be. And Wisconsin goes to Nebraska as like a 1.5 underdog. If Wisconsin beats Nebraska, we got to worry about them. I think if Nebraska wins, maybe Nebraska's for real. But come on, Nebraska beat Kansas State by a point, who Indiana destroyed. Bowling Green destroyed Kansas State. But then you got to go to Michigan State. Then you host Iowa. Then you're at Michigan. You're at Rutgers, Purdue at home, at UCLA, at USC, Wisconsin at home, Oregon. I mean, I
told you the Big Ten has become a basketball beast. There are your outliers, or your Purdue's, your Michigans, and your Michigan States, and then you got a big block of teams that are all just right in there together. That are best shooting team, or
I like Robert Schwartz. He agreed with me. That's what he saw too. He said they look like the IU of the last few years too.
Yeah, the team that executes the best in the Big Ten this year is going to make a lot of headway. So you have your 2 or 3 exceptional teams.
I think you have one exceptional team. I think Michigan State's the second best team. I think Purdue is at best third. Braden Smith has not shot the ball well so far this year. I think he's averaging like 8.8 assists a game. But they've struggled. They got beat by a really good Iowa State team by 20 points, but it was at Purdue. And Purdue's got a big game tonight. They play Minnesota. It's at home. I'm sure they'll bounce back. But that point spread on that game is 20 points, and I might lean towards Minnesota with the points there just because Braden Smith hadn't shot the ball as well as what everybody thought he would. And Michael Houghton says, I think if we come out and play like we did last night, we could beat Kentucky. If they come out and play like they did last night, they'll beat Kentucky by 40. But
yeah, if
we're not going to. I don't think we're going to see too many nights like last night again.
No, and yeah, there will be a very hostile crowd there. Trust me.
I know a bunch of rednecks that are drunk, married to their sisters. That's Kentucky Wildcats fans.
You're from Kentucky if your family tree doesn't fork.
Yeah, it's just one thing, and all your kids have 3 heads. We can tell Kentucky jokes because if you're a Kentucky fan and you're on the Indiana show, well, kiss off.
Did you hear about the war between the Hoosiers and Kentuckians?
I did. You want to tell me?
Kentuckians were throwing hand grenades across the Ohio River. Hoosiers were pulling the rings and throwing them back.
Yeah. That across the Ohio River, wouldn't it just blow up over the river?
No, they were delayed fuses.
That would have to be a hell of a throw, though.
You can set the timer on a fuse.
Maybe Phillip Rivers was making those throws like he will be for the Colts.
What is that all about?
I was going to text you last night. I'm just going to blow him away. Because I'd heard
Let's take a 44-year-old, out-of-shape, pot-bellied, dad-bellied Gomer who hadn't touched a football since 2021.
And he'll still be
already in the Hall of Fame, retired.
He'll still be better than Anthony Richardson.
And he'll still be – what's that tell you about Anthony Richardson?
He sucks.
They're finding ways to keep him on the IR.
Remember, he hurt himself stretching when the band broke and hit him in the orbital bone, so he's out for the season.
They're finding ways to keep him on IR.
Well, the bad thing
we're down to our rookie tight end as their
actually
backup
Ty
quarterback.
Warren might be a better quarterback right now.
Yeah, well, Warren is listed as the backup quarterback, and what do? We bring in. We don't even go after Flacco. We just go get.
I know. Well, you can't trade right now, so there had to be some kind of underhanded deal to get him from the Bengals. But I mean, yeah, I'd have went after Flacco and Robert Stewart. I love Phillip Rivers too. Come on, he homeschools.
Oh no, I love.
Hey, you know why Phillip Rivers came back? He homeschools these kids. He's got like 10 or 11 kids. He got to get out the damn house. They're about to drive him insane.
Yeah, I know. I know it's no slam on Phillip Rivers. I'm glad he's coming. I'm just. And the thing is I'm out here in LA and the game's actually on out here. Their afternoon game. It's the second game, so that's the bonus game for California. We get to see Seattle and Indianapolis.
No, you're going to Seattle?
No, it's on TV. Thank God.
No, I mean the game's in Seattle.
Yeah, game's at Seattle.
Y'all are screwed, Steve.
Yeah, we're out of the playoffs. Our playoff run.
The bad thing is. Now they will probably give Daniel Jones a max contract and think he's the man, and it's going to set you back.
I hope they don't.
3 years. They're going to.
I hope they don't.
We've seen it before with guys. Geno Smith had 10 good games one year. Hell, Daniel Jones, you should learn it from the Giants. Daniel Jones had the one good season where they made the playoffs, but he only threw like 15 touchdown passes. He just didn't screw the team up. And then they gave him like $30 or $40 million a year for like 4 or 5 years. And then they got rid of him a year or two later when he sucks again.
Yeah. Well, I just don't invest without having 2 first-round draft picks. They can't afford to give a lot of money to Daniel Jones. I don't believe they can.
But they will because it's the NFL and they're all stupid. And where else are you going to get a quarterback now with no draft pick?
Well, you're going to have to probably give up Jonathan Taylor.
For what? Who's gonna give up a starting quarterback for Jonathan Taylor?
Well, nobody of the caliber of what you need. But then if you don't have Jonathan Taylor, how good's your starting quarterback?
That's what I'm saying. He better be damn good. I don't think you're going to go get Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Joe Burrow with him.
No.
But all right, Steve. Hold on here. We got another message. Here. Doug Butler Myers says, great show again. You guys are knowledgeable and make me laugh. Is that just by looking at us or the things we say?
I'm dog ugly, so.
Nobody said you were cute. He didn't say anything about us being good looking. He just said that you guys are knowledgeable and make me laugh.
Okay.
We weren't trying to be in a beauty contest.
All right.
I was homecoming king at the Maryland School for the Deaf and the Blind, though.
Oh, don't do that. God.
I know I came in second. Shit. Steve already knew. But all right, guys, we will be back probably on Monday because
What's your final word? I think Indiana's fine.
I think Indiana wins this game. I think Indiana's in good
I
shape.
really do think they do. I'm just saying if I'm going to bet it, I got to see the point spread. But if it's a close point spread, I probably would take my chances with Kentucky, only because I think it tips that way. But I think Indiana, if I'm betting from my heart, I think Indiana can win this game by 8, 9, 10 points.
Hey, remember in 1985 when we played in Rupp Arena, don't you?
And Steve Alford, when Wofford hit the jump shot?
No, it's when 1985, Steve. It was when Steve Alford got in trouble for volunteering to be in a calendar.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was fully dressed, and he didn't report it tonight or the NCAA, and then he had to sit out the Rupp game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we lost by, I think, like 3 points. I think it was like 65-62. But all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We'll be back Monday at 1 o'clock. And make sure you check out all the Grueling Truth shows. You can find us now on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, over 300 different outlets. So make sure you check that out. Follow us on X at Grueling Truth. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification on YouTube. But for now, for Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening